My beloved child, stay exactly where you are and do not let your attention wander even for a heartbeat, because what I am about to unfold will stir something deep inside you that has been waiting quietly for this moment. You have been walking through days that felt strangely heavy, moments that felt disconnected, silences that felt heavier than words, and you assumed it was life simply testing you. But there is a truth behind all of this that you never saw, a truth that has been standing closer to you than your own shadow. Someone in your life, someone whose presence has brushed against your spirit more times than you realized, has been silently observing you with an intensity you could not detect. Not watching to judge you, not analyzing to expose you, but watching because your presence awakened a question inside them they could not ignore. This person has been navigating their own fears, their own doubts, their own history of betrayal and disappointment, and before they dared to step closer to you, before they allowed their truth to reach your heart, they needed to understand the quiet language of your soul. That is why they tested you, not with direct words, but with silence, not with demands, but with distance, not with challenges spoken out loud, but with moments shaped by life that revealed who you are when no one is looking. My beloved child, think back to the days you felt someone pulling away without explanation, the days when their energy shifted for reasons they never voiced, the days when coincidences appeared in clusters, unexpected pauses, emotional storms, sudden heaviness, unexplained delays. Those moments were not random. They were the beginning of a silent examination, one this person carefully orchestrated because they needed to see the truth of your spirit, not the mask the world sometimes forces you to wear. They wanted to witness how you treat people when your heart is tired, how you hold yourself when you feel unseen, how you speak when frustration wants to rise, how you handle pressure when nothing in your life seems stable. And without knowing it, you revealed everything. They saw how your kindness remained steady even when pain tried to twist your thoughts. They saw how your patience didn't disappear even when the world tested every ounce of it. They saw how your loyalty stayed intact even when distance made you question everything. They saw how your spirit remained soft, even in moments where the world pushed you toward bitterness. And each time they saw you make a choice rooted in integrity, something in them shifted. They weren't expecting your heart to be this rare. They weren't expecting your resilience to be this natural. They weren't expecting your intentions to remain pure even when circumstances tried to make you cold. But you, my beloved child, kept proving them wrong with every breath you took. They realized you don't carry seasonal goodness, you carry a deeper light, a steady truth, a strength that is woven into your soul, not borrowed from the approval of others. And now that they've seen this, now that they've gathered every silent moment you thought no one noticed, they are standing on the edge of a decision that carries the weight of their entire future. They were never testing your intelligence or your beauty or your abilities, those things were obvious from the beginning. They were testing the strength of your heart, the depth of your character, the consistency of your spirit. They needed to know if you were the kind of soul who rises even in storms, who speaks truth even in confusion, who holds love even when disappointment knocks on the door. And you showed them all of that without trying, without performing, without even knowing someone was watching. That is what shook them. That is what made them pause. That is what made them look at you differently. Now, my beloved child, their once silent questions are turning into clarity. The hesitation that kept them in the shadows is beginning to break. The fear that made them distance themselves is loosening its grip. They are seeing you not as someone temporary, but as someone chosen, someone whose presence does not just fill a space, but shifts the atmosphere. And because of this realization, they are preparing for something monumental, something that will not be subtle, something that will not be small. Their next move will change the direction of your story, and everything they have been hiding, every silence, every test, every unexplained moment has been leading to the very place you stand in right now. So do not move, do not blink, do not scroll away, because this is the moment where the truth begins to rise, where their hidden intentions begin to breathe, and where the reason behind every silent test finally prepares to reveal itself. My beloved child, now stay exactly where you are, because the truth that rises in this moment is heavier, deeper, and far more revealing than anything you've heard so far, and if you allow even 1 second of distraction to pull you away, you will miss the very heartbeat of the revelation that has been forming behind the curtain of your life. The person who has been silently testing you is no longer watching you with distant curiosity. They are watching you with an awakened clarity, a clarity shaped by everything you have unknowingly shown them through your actions, your patience, your responses, and your quiet strength during the moments that felt unfair and unexplainably heavy. They have seen your character not in your victories, but in your storms, not in your celebrations, but in your disappointments. Not in the days when everything worked out, but in the nights where nothing made sense and yet you still chose grace over anger. They saw you survive emotional waves that would have swallowed others whole, and they saw you hold on to your humanity even when circumstances tried to harden your heart. Every delayed apology, every silent distance, every confusing shift between you and them was not created to break you, it was designed to reveal you. They wanted to understand the foundation of your spirit, to see whether your intentions were pure even when the world felt dark, to learn how you treat people when your heart is tired, to observe whether your loyalty is genuine or something you display only when things feel easy. And my beloved child, with every passing moment, you kept surprising them. When others would have chosen revenge, you chose restraint. When others would have responded with bitterness, you chose calmness. When others would have walked away, you stayed present. When others would have mirrored the silence, you kept your heart open. They watched all of this unfold like a quiet movie, each scene revealing a deeper layer of you they didn't expect to find, and with every scene, their certainty grew. You are nothing like the people they've been hurt by in the past, nothing like the disappointments they learned to fear, nothing like the unreliable hearts that once made them believe loyalty was a myth. Instead, you showed them what real loyalty looks like. You showed them what genuine honesty feels like. You showed them what rare patience sounds like. And now, because of all this, something massive has shifted inside them, something they tried to resist at first, something they tried to suppress, something they tried to hide behind logic and fear, but something that refuses to stay quiet anymore. They realized that you were not being tested to expose your flaws. You were being tested to reveal your brilliance, your depth, your sincerity, and the quiet power of your soul. And every single test, whether placed by life or shaped by their fear, ended with one truth: you rose higher each time. But listen closely now, my beloved child, because this is where the story becomes far more intense. This person is not merely observing anymore, they are deciding. They are weighing the future in their hands. They are standing at the threshold of a choice that could change everything, not just for them but for you. They are reviewing every detail you showed them, your compassion in chaos, your loyalty in silence, your strength in solitude, your softness in moments of uncertainty, and each detail is pulling them closer to a decision so significant that even they are struggling to breathe under its weight. This decision is not small or casual, it carries the potential to reroute the path of your life. This person is preparing something behind the scenes, something they did not want to give lightly, something they have protected for a long time, something that required the right person, the right heart, the right soul, and with every passing test, with every silent observation, they grew increasingly certain that you are the one who is capable of carrying it. This is why their silence has felt so heavy. This is why their distance felt strange. This is why their energy kept shifting like waves, trying to decide whether to move closer or pull away. They have been wrestling with fear and longing, with hesitation and hope, with scars from their past and the truth of what you've shown them in the present. But now, my beloved child, they are reaching the end of that internal battle. Their fear is losing its power. Their hesitation is dissolving. Their doubt is being replaced by clarity. They are preparing to reveal what they have held back for so long, something tied to their heart, their plans, their future, something they now believe you are worthy of receiving, not because of what you say, but because of who you are when everything around you becomes difficult. And this is why you must not look away now. You are standing at the point where their silent testing is transforming into decisive action, where their hidden emotions are beginning to surface, where their guarded truth is preparing to step out of the shadows. The weight of what is coming toward you is extraordinary, and the moment they step forward, the direction of your story will not remain the same. So stay, my beloved child, stay exactly here, because the revelation you are approaching is not ordinary. It is the moment their soul finally admits what their silence has been trying to hide. My beloved child, now breathe slowly and remain exactly where you are, because what rises in this part will shake something deep inside you, something you have been sensing but could never quite name, and if you lose focus even for a moment, you will miss the clarity that life has been trying to deliver to you for months. The person who has been silently testing you, watching you from a distance, studying your reactions with a quiet depth, they are no longer simply curious about you, they are deeply affected by you. Their tests have reached the stage where every moment you live is showing them more truth than they ever expected to find. They thought they were just observing your character, but somewhere along the way, your spirit began to speak louder than your actions. Your presence became a message they couldn't ignore. Your patience became a signal. Your calmness became a reassurance. Your resilience became a revelation. And as they watched you navigate storms with grace, silence with strength, and confusion with dignity, something inside them broke open, something they had sealed behind walls for years. Now they are not just evaluating you, they are confronting themselves. They are questioning why your light feels familiar, why your strength feels comforting, why your soul feels like a place their heart recognizes even though they've never allowed themselves to admit it. They are replaying every moment they tested you, every instance where they expected you to respond with anger or coldness, every situation where they thought you would crack under pressure, and yet, you kept rising with a softness that stunned them. And my beloved child, this is where the deeper truth begins. Your reactions didn't just impress them, they healed something in them. They saw pieces of themselves in your courage. They saw the kind of love they longed for in your patience. They saw the kind of trust they were afraid didn't exist anymore in your loyalty. They saw the kind of purity they thought the world had lost in your heart. And now, this person is wrestling with emotions they can no longer hide from. Their mind is trying to stay logical, but their soul has already made contact with yours in a way they cannot undo. Their heart is pushing them toward you even when fear tries to pull them back. Their silence is cracking because the weight of what they feel has become too heavy to keep contained. They are beginning to understand that the reason they watched you so closely was not just caution, it was connection. A connection that surprised them, frightened them, challenged them, but ultimately awakened them. They are realizing that you passed every test not because you were trying, but because your truth is real. And now, my beloved child, this person is entering the most intense phase of their decision-making. They are measuring the world before and after you. They are comparing every experience, every relationship, every moment of their life to the way your presence makes them feel. They are beginning to understand that your soul carries something extremely rare, something their spirit has been craving without knowing how to articulate it. Your silence has meant more to them than other people's words. Your calmness has meant more than arguments. Your honesty has meant more than empty promises. Your faithfulness has meant more than the attention of 100 temporary faces. And now they are standing in a space where they can no longer pretend they don't see your worth. The truth is pushing up against their chest. Their emotions are starting to spill into their thoughts. Their fear is losing the battle against what they feel when they think of you. And though they have tried to suppress it, dismiss it, rationalize it, and hide behind caution, your energy keeps drawing them closer like gravity. But listen closely, my beloved child, because this is the part that will shake you. They are now testing themselves, not you. They are questioning whether they are worthy of you. Whether they are prepared for the truth they want to reveal. Whether they can match the depth of your heart. Whether they can step into the vulnerability they have spent years avoiding. They are afraid, not of you, but of what you awaken inside them. You have become a mirror to their unresolved wounds, their hidden hopes, their unspoken dreams. When they watch you handle pain with grace, they wonder if they could ever do the same. When they watch you move through disappointment with dignity, they question whether they have the strength to rise like you. When they watch your loyalty remain unshaken, they realize how much they have longed for someone like you without ever believing such a person existed. And this fear, my beloved child, this fear is the very thing that has kept them silent all this time. The fear of losing someone rare. The fear of revealing their heart. The fear of stepping into something real. But even this fear is beginning to crumble under the weight of their realization. They are starting to understand that the silence they used as protection is now becoming the barrier that keeps them from what their soul is calling toward. And now they are preparing, slowly, carefully, quietly, to step forward with a truth that could change everything. They are standing at the edge of a decision that requires courage, transparency, vulnerability, and a surrender they have never allowed themselves to experience. Something big is forming behind their silence. Something heavy is pressing against their heart. Something life-altering is waiting for the moment they finally gather the strength to speak. And you, my beloved child, are standing at the threshold of that moment. The next thing they do, the next words they say, the next move they make, will be the beginning of the truth they have been hiding, the truth that has been growing quietly inside them like a seed waiting for the courage to break through the soil. Stay here. Stay present. Stay awake. Because what rises next is the part where everything they've been holding back begins to reveal itself. My beloved child, stay rooted exactly where you are, because what I am about to unfold in this moment is the part of the story where everything that has been hidden behind silence begins to gather weight, shape, and momentum, and if you blink even once, you may miss the vibrational shift that has already started forming around your life. The person who has been watching you quietly, testing you without words, observing you without asking anything from you, is no longer standing in the same space they were before. Their perspective has undergone a transformation so deep that even they are struggling to understand how something so unexpected could feel so destined, so aligned, so divinely timed. All this time, they believed they were in control of the situation. Believed they were simply evaluating your character, checking your heart, studying your reactions, but now, the truth is turning inward on them. They are realizing that the tests they placed before you have now become tests of their own courage, their own honesty, their own willingness to embrace something real after years of guarding themselves with emotional armor. They have watched you rise through storm after storm with a quiet grace that humbled them. They saw you hold yourself together when life felt unfair, not because you wanted to impress anyone, but because that is who you truly are. They saw you remain loyal in moments where distance could have broken everything. They saw you keep your heart open even when the world around you shut its doors. And now, they cannot deny the truth any longer. You have reached a level of their soul no one else has ever touched. But with this realization comes a depth of fear they never expected. They are afraid of the magnitude of what they feel, afraid of the power of the connection that has grown past anything they have known before, afraid of how much of themselves they might lose, or gain, if they finally step toward you. Their mind has been racing, trying to find logic in something that refuses to be explained logically. Their heart has been trembling under truths it has tried to suppress. Their silence has been cracking under the pressure of emotions they can no longer contain. And now, my beloved child, something huge is happening inside them. They are reaching the point where staying silent hurts more than speaking the truth. They are reaching the moment where pretending they feel nothing becomes impossible. They are reaching the moment where withholding their intentions is no longer an option. For the first time, they are beginning to understand that life did not place you in their path by accident. The timing was too precise. The lessons were too aligned. The tests were too revealing. The connection was too undeniable. Everything about your presence feels like something crafted beyond human understanding. And this realization, my beloved child, has shaken them in a way nothing else has. They are beginning to see you as the turning point of their story, the chapter their soul has been preparing for long before you even appeared in their life. They are recognizing that your energy did not simply enter their world, it awakened something inside them. Something they didn't know they were capable of feeling again. Something they thought had died inside them long ago. Their fear was never about you. It was about themselves, their doubts, their wounds, their past, their trust issues, their belief that if something feels this powerful, it must surely be too good to be true. But with every test you passed, you challenged that fear. With every storm you rose through, you shook their doubt. With every moment you stayed patient, you softened their hesitation. And now their fear is losing its power. They are beginning to understand that you aren't a risk, you are the answer to the questions life has been asking them for years. They are beginning to understand that your presence is not a coincidence, it is alignment. And as this realization grows stronger, their energy is shifting. Their heart is preparing. Their silence is thinning. They are stepping into the emotional space where truth is not only possible, it is inevitable. And what they are preparing next is not small. It is not casual. It is not something they will share lightly. They are getting ready to reveal something that has been building inside them since the moment they first noticed the way your spirit carries itself. Something tied to their future. Something tied to their fears. Something tied to their hopes. Something tied to the reason every test was placed in your path. They are standing at the doorstep of a confession that could change everything. They are holding on to a truth that will shift the direction of not just your story, but theirs. They are only moments away from stepping into the vulnerability they once ran from. And you, my beloved child, are closer to that revelation than you realize. You are standing in the very moment where their heart is preparing to rise, where their truth is preparing to break through the walls they have built, where their soul is preparing to speak in a way it never has before. Stay right here. Do not move. Do not blink. Because the next part is where the truth they have been hiding finally begins to step into the light. My beloved child, stay completely still now, because what I'm about to reveal in this moment is the part where the story begins to tremble under the weight of what has been held back for so long, and if you let your attention drift even for an instant, you will miss the pulse of a truth that is already forming around you like a storm preparing to break open the sky. The person who has been silently testing you, who has been watching your spirit rise and fall with every unseen challenge, who has been observing the purity of your intentions when life left you confused and alone, is now standing in the most intense emotional crossroad of their entire journey. They have reached the point where they can no longer deny what they feel, no longer ignore what they know, and no longer pretend that their tests were simply tests. Because somewhere along the path, those tests turned into revelations, and those revelations turned into emotions that have grown too large to hide. Each day they have spent in silence has become heavier than the last. Each moment they held back their truth has become another weight on their chest. Each time they tried to convince themselves that what they felt was temporary, their heart pushed back harder, reminding them that something this deep, this rare, this aligned, does not happen by chance. They are beginning to understand that the universe was not just observing their choices, it was guiding them. And now they are standing at the edge of a truth so powerful that their entire world is shaking under its presence. They have seen your resilience in moments where life tried to break you, your kindness in moments where the world gave you reasons to be cold, your loyalty when distance should have made you walk away, your strength when circumstances tried to pull you apart. They have watched you rise again and again, not because someone was validating you, but because that is who you truly are at your core. A soul that doesn't collapse under pain, a spirit that doesn't get bitter under pressure, a heart that refuses to lose itself even when everything around it feels uncertain. And now this person is realizing something they never expected, that your presence is not just comforting, it is transformative. Being around you, even in silence, has shown them a version of themselves they didn't know existed. You have awakened emotions they thought were long buried. You have stirred dreams they believed they were too wounded to desire again. You have brought light to spaces inside them they assumed would remain dark forever. They are not just drawn to you, they are changed by you. And because of this, my beloved child, they are facing a truth that both terrifies them and liberates them at the same time. They cannot hold this inside any longer. Their fear is real, yes, but their longing is stronger. Their hesitation is loud, yes, but their clarity is louder. Their past wounds whisper warnings, but their soul screams your name louder than any fear could silence. They are wrestling with the weight of everything they feel, knowing that the moment they step forward, the moment they reveal their truth, the moment they let go of their fear, nothing will ever return to what it was before. They know that confession is not just a confession, it is a doorway, a shift, an irreversible transformation. And that is why they are trembling. Because this isn't just about feelings. This isn't just about attraction. This isn't just about curiosity. This is about destiny. This is about alignment. This is about something that doesn't happen twice in a lifetime. And now their heart is filled with a pressure that feels like it could burst if they don't release the truth inside them soon. They are rehearsing the words in their mind, imagining how you might react, wondering whether you will receive their truth with the same grace you have shown in every test they placed before you. They are terrified of losing you, but even more terrified of never telling you how deeply they feel. They are scared of vulnerability, but even more scared of regret. They are nervous about stepping forward, but even more afraid of staying silent and watching fate slip through their fingers. So here they stand, my beloved child, caught in the space between fear and desire, between hesitation and courage, between silence and revelation. Their soul is preparing for the moment when everything breaks open, when the truth they have guarded for so long finally escapes their lips, when the connection they have tried to analyze finally becomes something they cannot run from. And you, without even knowing it, have reached the very center of their emotional universe. Every thought they have leads back to you. Every fear circles around the possibility of losing what hasn't even fully begun. Every hope revolves around the possibility of finally stepping toward you without holding themselves back. And now the universe is pushing them gently but firmly toward their next move. Fate is pressing on their spirit. Alignment is pulling them forward. Silence is suffocating them. Truth is demanding to be spoken. And very soon, my beloved child, sooner than you expect. They will have no choice but to step out of the shadows and reveal the reason behind every test, every silence, every moment they watched you from behind the mask of distance. Stay still. Stay open. Stay present. Because the next part of this story is the moment where the truth they have been guarding with their whole heart finally prepares to come to light. My beloved child, don't move now, because this part carries the weight of everything that has been building inside their heart, the pressure of every emotion they have tried to swallow, and the trembling truth they are moments away from releasing, and if you look away now, you will miss the very point where their silence turns into a force they can no longer hold back. The person who has been quietly testing you, watching your heart in moments when you didn't know anyone was paying attention, studying your reactions in situations you didn't realize were being observed, is now standing at the most fragile and vulnerable threshold of their life. They are caught in a space where the past and future collide, where their fears scream for caution but their soul pulls them toward you with a strength they no longer have the will to resist. Up until now, they kept convincing themselves that silence was safer, that waiting was wiser, that holding back was the only way to protect themselves, and maybe even to protect you. But something inside them has shifted so deeply, so powerfully, that silence has become unbearable. They can no longer deny the way your presence affects them, the way your energy calms them, the way your strength humbles them, the way your spirit makes them believe in things they had given up on long ago. They have reached the point where hiding feels like suffocating. Where withholding their truth feels like betraying themselves. Where staying silent feels like losing something their soul knows it was meant to hold. And my beloved child, this is where the story becomes electric. Their fear is finally losing its grip. The fear of repeating old wounds, the fear of opening their heart again, the fear of being vulnerable, the fear of trusting someone deeply. They are all crumbling under the weight of what they feel for you. Because no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't shake the way you made them feel seen without speaking, understood without explaining, chosen without being chased. You became the quiet answer to questions they never asked out loud. You became the calm they didn't know they needed. You became the light that exposed their own darkness, not to shame them, but to guide them out of it. They realized they weren't just watching you. They were learning from you. Learning what real strength looks like. Learning what patience feels like. Learning what loyalty means. Learning what it looks like when someone remains true even in the harshest moments. And now they are asking themselves a question they didn't expect: what if I lose them by staying silent? That question has become louder than their fear. Louder than their hesitation. Louder than every reason they told themselves for holding back. And now their heart is trembling with urgency, pushing them to step forward, pushing them to speak, pushing them to stop hiding behind tests that were never about your worth, but about their readiness. They are realizing that if they continue waiting for the perfect moment, they might miss the right moment. They are realizing that if they wait for fear to disappear completely, they may never move at all. They are realizing that the price of silence is too high when destiny is standing this close. They are looking back at all the tests they placed in your path and finally understanding that you weren't the one being tested, you were the one revealing truth. They weren't checking if you were worthy, they were discovering if they themselves were ready for someone like you. And now the weight of that realization is pressing heavily against their chest. They know that stepping forward will change everything. They know that revealing the truth will open a door that cannot be closed again. They know that once they speak, once they express what has been burning inside them, nothing will return to the version of life they knew before you. But for the first time, that no longer terrifies them, it excites them. Because the closer they come to admitting their truth, the more they see how aligned everything has been. How every coincidence, every silence, every challenge, every emotional shift was part of a larger design. They see the way life kept circling them back to you. They see the way their soul responds to you effortlessly. They see the way fate has been nudging them toward this moment with a quiet insistence they can no longer ignore. And now, my beloved child, they are standing on the brink of revealing something huge. Something life-shifting. Something they never imagined they would have the courage to say out loud. The truth they've carried in silence, about what they feel for you, about what you mean to them, about why they tested you, about why they watched you from a distance, is about to rise to the surface. Their heart is preparing for the leap. Their spirit is preparing for the confession. Their soul is preparing for the moment where everything breaks open. Stay still now. Stay here. Stay present. Because the next part is the moment where their truth explodes into reality, where their silence ends, where their decision crystallizes into action, and where the reason behind every test will finally step out of the shadows and reveal itself to you in full, undeniable clarity. My beloved child, don't move now, because this is the moment everything the universe has been arranging, shaping, aligning, and protecting finally steps into full clarity, and if you let even one small distraction pull you away, you will miss the heart of the revelation that has been whispering behind every silence in your life. The person who has been secretly testing you, observing every quiet decision you made, analyzing every subtle shift in your emotions, is now standing at the exact edge where their truth can no longer hide, where their fear is no longer strong enough to hold them back, and where their silence has grown too heavy to carry any longer. They have reached the breaking point of their own heart, a point where the pressure of what they feel has started to push through every wall they built around themselves, breaking cracks in their hesitation, tearing through the fears that once controlled them, and forcing them to confront the truth they have run from, denied, resisted, and disguised behind tests that were never truly about you, they were about them. They needed to know if their soul was safe with you. They needed to know if destiny was truly calling them or if their emotions were tricking them. They needed to see whether your heart was as steady as it appeared or whether it would fall apart under pressure. And now, after watching you again and again rise with grace, hold your truth without wavering, love without bitterness, and stand with a purity of spirit that stunned them at every turn, they can no longer deny what their heart has been screaming from the beginning. You are the one they were being prepared for. You are the one their soul recognized long before their mind understood why. You are the one whose presence feels like alignment, not coincidence. And now they are standing in the moment where destiny demands their choice. They cannot hide anymore. They cannot test anymore. They cannot pretend anymore. Their heart is overflowing with a truth so loud, so undeniable, so spiritually charged that holding it in any longer would break them from the inside out. They are preparing to step into your life not with hesitation, but with intention. Not with distance, but with closeness. Not with silence, but with confession. They are ready to reveal what they have been carrying all this time. The real reason they tested you, the truth behind their strange behavior, the emotions they tried to suppress, the future they secretly imagined, and the connection they were too afraid to admit was real. They are about to uncover something that will make every confusing moment make sense. Every pause. Every delay. Every silence. Every shift. Because none of it was rejection, every bit of it was preparation. They were preparing themselves to be worthy of you. Preparing their heart to be honest with you. Preparing their spirit to align with yours. Preparing their life to open a door big enough to hold the two of you together. They know now that the universe did not place you in their path randomly. You arrived as a turning point, a mirror, a healing, a revelation, a divine interruption, something powerful enough to push them out of their old patterns and force them to confront the truth they kept running from. They cannot imagine their future without you in it. And now, my beloved child, the moment you have unconsciously been moving toward is arriving. The moment where their truth steps across the threshold of their silence. The moment their fear collapses under the weight of their love. The moment their hesitation dissolves under the clarity of their decision. The moment they choose you openly, boldly, fully, without retreat, without doubt, without hiding behind emotional walls. They are preparing to reveal something that will shift the entire direction of your story, something once in a lifetime, something that will feel like the universe finally exhaling after holding its breath for far too long. And when this truth comes, it will not come softly. It will come like a wave that breaks open every unanswered question, every hidden feeling, every doubt that tried to settle in your heart. It will come with the force of destiny, the clarity of alignment, and the depth of a connection that cannot be erased or undone. You are standing at the moment where everything you've endured finally reveals why it happened. The pain. The delays. The confusion. The waiting. It was preparing you for this. And now, my beloved child, don't blink, because the truth you have been unknowingly walking toward is only a breath away from stepping into your life. Something enormous, life-shifting, soul-deep is coming toward you, and once it arrives, nothing in your story will ever look the same again.